Joe, being hard-headed is one thing, but this is the most important decision you're going to make.
I understand that, Mom. But it seems to me that given your reservations about Karen, you're giving me no choice but to elope. Speak of the devil. So, when do you want to go to Vegas?
If this is about the wedding, Vegas is not exactly what I had in mind.
Well, I'm glad to see one of you has her head on straight. Now stop teasing me, will you, Joe? This is serious.
I couldn't be more serious. It would mean the world to me if I had your blessing. But we will get married without it. Bottom line.
Okay. Joe, stop. Mary, I know I'm not exactly the person you had in mind for Joe. My past isn't pretty. I know that. But it's made me who I am, and I'm proud of that.
So am I.
Come here. I want to tell you this. When we were kids growing up in the neighborhood, everyone would talk about how lucky Joe and Frank were to have a mother like you. See, I know how much your kids mean to you and how much you want the best for them. But I love this man with all of my heart, and I am completely committed to him.
You look at Karen's past. I want you to think of the strength that it took her to overcome that. And I want you to love her for it as much as I do.
And no one is gonna love him better than me. Except for you, of course. I'm gonna make Joe take it back, what he said, because we do need your blessing so that we can be a family and we can rely on each other.
Lord knows I didn't expect you to exchange your vows right here on the spot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, now enough of that. Just promise me, both of you, you won't rush into things. I mean, you have your medical boards. You have your certification. You have to
Mom,
set up practices. You have med school bills.
Listen to me. I do intend on getting married in this century, though, okay?
Yeah, but don't let the marriage get your careers off track. That's all. Promise?
With this workload, I don't think that's possible, Mother. I have to go.
Okay.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Mom, thank you.
Love you, darling.
I love you, too.
Wow. This was the most intense break I've ever had. I'll see you later.
Okay. Thanks, Mary.
Karen. Hi.
Hi.
I saw you with Mary. How did it go?
Oh. Well, I think she had some concerns, but she saw how committed we are.
Good. Just watch the concerns. She doesn't let go of them as easy as she says. Your burns aren't too bad. How's your head feeling?
I got a monster headache. It's nothing serious, though.
All right, I'm going to order something for it. I want to run a few more tests, though. I want to make sure...
Ellen, stop. It's okay to be scared.
My heart stopped when I saw you wheeled into the ER.
I'm here. And I'm okay.
You know, I was fighting to keep my mind on the task at hand. The whole time I was working on you, I kept saying, I won't lose this man.
You're not gonna lose me the way you lost Sam. I made a pact with myself to never be the cause of that kind of pain in your life. Haven't you figured that I'm good for about 15 lives by now? Hey, Mike. What's with the guard at the door?
Look, I saw Garcia over at your place, and the guard is here because this wasn't an accident, Matt. That light was purposely rigged. Someone tried to electrocute you just like your character in Kevin's book.
Kevin, you recognize this?
Oh, look, Monk, that's the button to your cashmere sport jacket. I remember when you said
you'd lost?
Thank you, Victor. Yes, I did lose a button some time ago.
You want to take a wild guess where I found it?
I have no idea.
Matt Harmon's bathroom.
I haven't been anywhere near Matt Harmon or his apartment. The killer probably stole that button when he planted the clown suit in my dresser drawer.
Wanted to see how you'd react to the news.
Did I pass the audition?
With flying colors. Somehow I just couldn't imagine you setting up a shock job in a cashmere jacket. The button was probably planted.
So you're not here to make an arrest?
I'm actually here to take you up on your offer to bait the killer, if the offer still stands.
Oh, it stands.
Great, then I'll see you tomorrow at the radio station.
I'll be there.
I'll have my men setting up the tracing equipment. Professor.
Hey, up for a visitor?
Absolutely. Can rescue me from all these journals.
So how's the hand?
Well, second-degree burns don't exactly tickle. Could have been a lot worse. Medication has taken my nausea away. And that pain in my head is down to a dull ache.
So when you out of here?
Today.
Glad to hear it. I've seen some bad electrical shock accidents. You were lucky. So, what's with the cop at the door?
My accident wasn't an accident.
You're kidding.
I wish I were. Someone rigged my light switch to electrocute me. Fortunately, my building had old wiring and the circuit breaker shut the current off. If it weren't for that, I'd be toast.
Wasn't your character in General Homicide electrocuted?
Well, that's not where I go with it. Do you remember that I overheard you and Ramsey discussing DL-56?
Yeah? You don't think I had something to do with this?
Well, I think I know you better than that, Frank. It's Ramsey I wouldn't put it past. And if Chris thought he could make a quick buck by selling your DL-56 story to the tabloids, and I threatened to get in the way, how far would he go?
Well, Chris would do anything for Chris, but if you were set up to be taken out like your character in Kevin's book, my money would be on the General Homicide killer.
Ready?
We can activate a trace on every line. The trap is set.
If our guy calls in, keep him on the phone as long as possible. Whatever you gotta say, whatever you gotta do, just do it. The trace only takes a matter of seconds. I want to give my men enough time to get there and pick him up.
I'll keep him on as long as I can. It's a good plan, Garcia. Don't look so nervous.
I'm not nervous. I'm not the hunk of meat that's being dangled in front of the shark.
I know you don't like using civilians in sting operations, but you didn't cause this. The killer using my book did.
Let's just hope his attachment to you is strong enough that he'll call in.
I believe it is. Hopefully we can flush him out. We'll put an end to this.
Either that or we could provoke him into trying to kill somebody else.
You know, before he attacked Matt Harmon, when he called in, he said that he felt neglected. Maybe by giving him some attention, we can give him a distraction from killing.
I'm not happy he tried to hurt Matt, but it could help us catch this creep. We kept the attempt on his life out of the paper. If we get a caller that knows the details, it's a good shot that it's our killer.
We're ready to go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Tell Me About It. Our guest today is Dr. Kevin Collins, author of General Homicide. Dr. Collins?
Hello, Port Charles. I'm here to speak to the person who's using my book as a manual for murder.
I heard your last call to the radio station. You asked if we'd forgotten you. Well, I haven't. Why don't you give me a call and we can continue our conversation?
Now, Lance Pharmaceuticals wants to see for themselves how this drug affects people. And you're the key to some very big money.
If what I heard is true, I'm turning you in.
Ramsey, I have a question for you.
Relax. Got your DL-56.
Thanks anyway, but that's not the question. Matt's near-death encounter with the light switch was no accident.
Are you serious?
See for yourself. There's a cop outside of his hospital room.
That means the general homicide killer tried to strike again.
Oh, Matt figures it was you.
Me? Well, Matt's paranoid. Why would I try to electrocute him?
Because he overheard our conversation about DL-56 and threatened to bust you. What was it you said to me yesterday? If Matt tells anyone about DL-56, your career goes down the tubes? Huh? That sounds like a motive to me.
You were the one who said we had to figure out a way to keep him quiet. I suppose killing him is one way.
Matt happens to be a friend of mine.
You would do anything to get your hands on DL-56.
I didn't do this.
I didn't either. Now, listen. Have you forgotten that there is a homicidal maniac running loose in this town trying to get his total in the double digits? Maybe he did it.
And you're not him?
I have an alibi, remember?
Oh, that half-baked alibi for Devlin's murder. Give me a break. Grace took her last breath with your stethoscope wrapped around her neck. You are as much of a suspect as anyone.
Well, the same can be said for you. And your girlfriend, for that matter.
You leaked Julie out of this. So where were you last night when someone tried to fry Matt?
Where was I? Where were you? Climbing the walls after shooting up your candy?
I'm the one who brought Matt in.
You could have rigged this place before you went on duty. Sounds like the kind of thing you could do. Unlike me, the only screwdriver you'll find in my hand is the kind that's loaded up with vodka.
I don't need your accusations or your wisecrack.
Get off me! Before you lose control, why don't you think about where your next dose of DL-56 is coming from?
I guess we'll have to finish this later.
Yeah, well, I'm all broken up.
Yeah, don't tempt me.
Why hunt down all these people in my book when it's clear that I'm the one you want? Call me. Put your cards on the table. Tell me straight up what this is about.
Maybe we'll find out who this maniac is today.
Maybe we will.
You think Frank and Ramsey tried to electrocute you?
I don't like suspecting Frank. But I know that Chris would backstab his mother for $50.
But they're not even pals. I mean, the last time I heard, Frank couldn't even stand the guy.
Well, he and Chris were mixed up together and something to do with Jake and Karen's drug they were working on.
It doesn't sound right. I mean, Frank is a friend. He's a good guy.
I consider Frank a friend, too. But listen to this. Frank told me that he wasn't in detox for pain medication. And before Devlin was murdered, he gave Frank DL-56, Jake and Karen's drug. He got hooked on it. He was injecting himself.
Well, wait a minute. What does this drug do?
Well, according to Karen, it promotes nerve regeneration. But it also has the unfortunate side effects of causing erratic behavior and extreme aggression. And the lab animals that were given the drug, they were just freaking out, even after the drug was completely out of their systems.
That sounds like those guys that are taking that bodybuilding steroid.
That's a good analogy.
So you think that Frank had a permanent personality change because Devlin was shooting him up with this
DL-56. Devlin or Chris.
Oh, man. Or Frank. I mean, it's hard enough trying to kick a habit, but to do it because somebody else has gotten you hooked, and that's a tough break.
It's criminal.
So, you think that Frank may have had a personality change by using this drug that would make him try to kill you?
Well, I can't say for sure, Mike. But anything's possible.
Matt, I mean, it's a stretch, even if Frank had been using a drug like DL-56, okay? Now, Ramsey, on the other hand, that's another story.
Mike, 4 people are dead. I was going to be number 5. I'm not ruling anyone out.
Kevin is on the radio. He's trying to get the murderer to call in.